what are some common mistakes that you hear from young baseball broadcasters?
It's interesting because I get a lot of tapes, and I try to be as honest with people as possible. And again, I caveat that by saying, "Listen, I'm not the guy that is going to hire you, and I'm not the end all be all." I tell you about what my ear likes to hear and what I do. I think that the tendency to get into what I like to call the Mr. Microphone, the Mr. Announcer voice, really separates some of the good ones from the not so good ones. Sound more conversational, comfortable with your product, comfortable with your environment, comfortable with your team. And when you are, you can tell. It sounds that way. And I fully admit, my first few years of doing it, I was a robot, and it was just anything I could do just to get the call right. And forget about personality, forget about anything else. I just wanted to make sure I got the call right. And I respect that, and I think you have to get that right before you can really launch into your own way of doing it in your own style. The other thing I pick up from some young guys is they try to imitate guys that are in the industry now. There's a lot of people that will pick their favorite announcer and they'll be him, or they'll try to be him. And I always say to those guys, it's tough enough to be the only you rather than the next so and so. So be the only you and find your own unique little way of doing things. And everybody borrows things from other people, and that's absolutely fine. But I always tell them, try to adapt what you've heard from, say, in my case, Pat Hughes, when I was working my way up, the broadcaster for the Cubs. He has a couple of things that every once in a while I'll close my eyes after a game that I listen back to and think, oh my God, you just did Pat. I mean, you were Pat, but you did it your own way. Not to say that it's wrong. That Pat's got his own style. I've got my own style. Ted definitely has his own style, and guys throughout the industry have their own style. But do your thing first. And people trying to imitate other people kind of get them off track, and that's kind of how it goes. I think that there's just other vocal things that you pick up every once in a while that not enough enthusiasm, but it all goes back to the original thought here with the fact that you get a little you're not as comfortable at the beginning, and you're not as comfortable maybe your first 2 or 3 years. The game is quick. It's a slow paced game, but you'd be surprised when you get into the booth and you're not sure of yourself, how fast that game seems. And then, like for players, the game eventually does slow down to the point where, you can look away from the field for a few seconds and not think, oh my God, I just missed something, because you've done it, you feel comfortable, and it only comes with time.